All right, Matt. Ready to pick up where we left off last. Been quite the hectic week. Didn't do as much prep as I wanted to for this encounter, but that's all right. We'll just do what we can.
All right, back. The phone call's over. We're good. Good to go.
Excellent. So am I. So, my eyes have opened as I'm looking at myself in many different forms of the same thing myself.
Mhm. There's a lot of Johnny boy.
I uh I stop walking as I feel like I found the right place. Um I look to my side. I have my wooden moon sword, correct? I have that on me. You said I had everything on me that I came in with.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, um, one of the first things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my sword in my hands and I'm gonna swing. And I'm gonna be watching every single one of me swinging. And I'm going to, with my special eyes, take in that swing. Um, and I'm going to use my first destiny fragment here. Um, in combination with my Eye of the Sava to find the catalyst for the next Art of the Sword, Path of the Sword from myself that I've already like we're all in this together. Different versions of myself. We're all gonna be the same, but also some of myself might have already completed this task. Um, and it's gonna give me so much information of just like the swing. It's like,
Mm-hmm. Now,
um,
not all of these are benign. A lot of them are like, because you kind of find yourself in the middle, and any which way you look, there's different sides of the spectrum, and it's not just left
right,
or right. Any different direction. It's almost spherical. You just see tons and tons of copies of you that all turn into this spiral
hmm
where it's the inverse, but they're all looking back at you. It's kind of very strange. And many of them swing their sword. Some swing their sword at others.
oh yes,
So one of the major concerns your character would have in this moment is if the reflections become autonomous, then this may be a fight.
okay.
And that's not a great fight. That's not going to be great.
Well, I'm only swinging it once, and I'm steadying myself in this case. I'm having a great view that I don't usually get the opportunity to. When I'm swinging my sword and I'm practicing, I'm I'm doing it in a way that is not self-reflective. I'm doing the action. But in this case, I have the opportunity to see myself do the action and so many different facets of a mirror. The inverse is almost like breaking down what something is. You could say it's the opposite. Um, it's a reflection. It's well, in this case, it's deeper, I suppose. And I feel like it's a great way to gain some information as I do the one swing. When I use a destiny fragment, does everyone else use a destiny fragment?
No, not everyone else.
Okay.
Um, well, then use your destiny fragment.
I'm subtracting it.
Then you got to decide what it does or what you're trying to get it to do.
What I'm getting it to do is provide the opportunity to see myself really reflectively swing my art of the sword, my path of the sword.
How? Like, and I know it's a peak narrative, but it's still. I mean, what does it mean by see? Because you.
Using my dharmic eye, my to look at myself swinging the sword and the nuances and the technique, all of these things that I would do in a reflection. You know what I mean? Like I would be able to see myself do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But different ways of doing it, not just the way I do it, but the inverse of.
Bit
And
dangerous because
I'm
those who do use the destiny fragment, they also, for those who use the same thing, you
mhm,
are their reflection,
mhm.
which means uh, it's kind of the mirrored and the mirrored inverse, which kind of locks you in to the reflection because you become somebody else's tool, another version of you's tool to get better at swinging. They too practice this very thing. Um, I'll give you another piece of information from the Destiny Fragment, though. While you can learn a lot in this particular space, you need to get out.
Mhm.
That is your trial. And while you can figure out how to practice your martial arts better, you were but one reflection, spiraled out into infinity. And that means any one of you could potentially leave first.
Right.
And whoever leaves first wins the trial. And the only advantage you currently have is these reflections were spun off of you, and you were the first to realize, what this space is, that it is a trial in the first place. The longer you stay here, the more those reflections become you. And eventually one of them will have the same idea. I need to get out of here.
That's fair. Um, I suppose what I'm trying to debate for myself is what do I do with all my reflections? I can try to destroy them, destroy these reflections of myself to find one. I could try to find three. I could three, six, nine. So a mirror is something that reflects light. um, I think what I'm gonna do next is um, I'm going to activate one of my martial arts that I have. I'm going to I am going to feed my flame. It is a toughness check to do so, and it's going to give me temporary wounds. What I'm going to do after that, though, is I'm going to turn those temporary wounds into a flame shield to engulf myself in a fiery shielding.
Okay. What's the goal behind that?
The goal behind it is to muddle the encounter.
Okay. So
Um,
it's not permeable. You can't see through it.
correct.
Okay.
Um, so myself within the flame,
Yeah.
and then what I do next after that is I um, use my sword to cut a circle underneath me in the mirror.
Okay. Um, what sword are you using?
My moon wood sword.
Okay. You're basically your indestructible flexible switch.
That is mundane to
Mhm.
everyone looking at it.
Okay. Mm, okay. Um, unfortunately, it doesn't lead out. It just leads to another reflection.
That's all right. Do any of the other reflections do that?
You don't know. You can't see them.
Okay. Um, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down. I'm going to um, I'm going to do something interesting here. I'm going to do a science test on my key pathways. I'm going to fluctuate and utilize my fate and tribulation key.
What do you mean by fluctuate?
I'm going to make it flow through my body,
Okay, just circulate it.
circulating.
Okay,
Um,
fluctuate it's a smidge different.
yeah,
It's not
fair
as
enough.
safe or benign on your
Yeah.
body.
Um, yeah, because to me, this key of mine is the key, KEY, to solving this tribulation, as it has been with um, my actual tribulations from the earthly path. There has to be a something similar there. There has to be a connection between it. Um, what I was thinking about doing too is I have unallocated key I could use. I was wondering if I took some of this energy that's around me. Um, hmm. You know what? I'm going to use another destiny fragment, and I'm going to actualize this destiny fragment as a story piece for Savaler. Um, Today is Savaler's birthday, and uh, I'm going to actualize that first.
What do you mean by actualize?
So I'm going to utilize the destiny fragment, and I'm going to insert a story element for Savaler. Um,
A new
and
one?
it's
A new Destiny fragment?
Yep, another one being used out of my pool.
Okay, just had to clarify.
Mhm. I'm going to subtract. And yeah, I'm going to say, "Ha! I almost forgot." Well,
What does it do?
it lets the story know that it's my birthday.
Um, no.
What do you mean, no?
It's not a good reason, Jenny.
Why? That's completely a good reason. It's just
Uh,
like, hey,
We'll
it's today.
celebrate your birthday in another way, but we gotta. This one's a tough one. No birthday wins on this one. You gotta win by the teeth of your story. So what
All
does
right.
your Destiny fragment do?
The Destiny fragment. There's two ways I want to go about this. One is either I want to fill in some of the cracks of my dharmic eye to see the truth, or my other one, which I'm more leaning towards, is I want to use the destiny fragment to I want to use it to find one of myselves. Um,
Find one of yourselves.
that in the mirror, and I want to be able to interact with that other self. Um,
Okay. Well, you don't really need to spend a Destiny fragment for that. You just need to turn off your flame barrier and attempt to interact with.
okay. Well, I'll shut off my flame bearer, my flame devouring shield, and I'm going to use the destiny fragment to find one in particular from all the other fragments of in the mirror. I'm trying to find a special Sabbat layer.
Um, what do you mean by
This is
special? Because there's a lot of special versions of you. There's a lot of
hmm,
ones that would look different. Like it's kind of hard to gauge what you consider special.
one that utilizes the wood element
Hmm.
compared to the
All
fire element that I'm utilizing right now.
right. Well, yeah, we can use the SC fragment to find a wood element user.
Okay. So we find him, and then I'm going to hmm, hmm. I'm going to reach out and grab them. Grab their hand. And then from
Okay.
my other hand, I'm going to use another destiny fragment, and I'm going to find somebody of that's a light user instead of a fire or wood user. And then I'm going to grab them with my other hand.
Um. Well, everyone also uses another destiny fragment, and
Mhm.
uh, this other version of you that you grabbed onto also uses their fragment.
Mhm.
It's not for the thing that is opposite or mirrored or similar. All right. And you're gonna go find a light guy.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Um.
utilize the three yang elements of wood, fire, and light. Um, and I thought that would be a great usage for my Dao name that I'm going for. Um,
Well. Um. The reflections have woken up.
mhm.
You've used enough fate and tribulation energy here with destiny fragments 3 in a row
Yep.
that you now have sentient copies. So I'm gonna roll. If one of them rolls a 1, you lose.
Sure. Um,
And the wood guy will basically, if you don't let go of his hand, he will engage you in combat.
mhm.
All right, so we're gonna start with 10 of them wake up. All of them are gonna fate point.
Okay. Do note that I do have Star Child for Tribulation that hasn't changed for like 20 sessions.
Sure. Um,
I'll use a fate point to reroll his fate point because it's me,
it's for
the one.
I don't think you can
Why not?
because it's hard luck. You can't roll better.
Hmm. No, I can use Destined for Failure to reroll.
Right?
I use one of my fate points.
Okay. Uh, a lot of the reflections are starting to take their own actions,
Hmm.
and the number is going to continue to grow.
So I found my other two.
No, the original guy is going to stab you if you don't let go, or he's going to cut your wrist off. Like he does not want to hold your hand.
Okay.
You're a fire user grabbing a wood user.
Hmm.
This is a very bad interaction for him. So
Yeah, we can do it like this. I'm gonna suck him into the yin and yang coin.
He's gonna suck you into his yin and yang coin.
Does he have one?
Yeah,
The
they're
will that all
waking up. I was warning you about this.
right?
If and he doesn't have a go piece. He has an actual coin, like a two-sided coin.
Yeah.
So, like, they all have recreation cards. They all have all your equipment. Like, it's not looking good. Like everything that you do, they can do too. And a lot of their stuff, depending on which permutation, has something just a little bit different or
Mhm.
completely different. Um, and with your triple use, you need to get out quickly. Because you will run out of points. The amount of rolls I get keep going up. We already had a near lose. Like,
Alrighty. I'm just wondering if it should be like a brawl I should go for. Start fighting all myself. Start going for the ones that haven't woken up yet for sentience. What? I just don't know what to do.
would you like to make a roll? Or use a insight, martial insight.
What I really want to do is I want to roll 100 and then cascade fail to all these other guys.
Do it.
Uh,
Do it. You're my lucky guy. I believe in you.
When's the last time I... This would be an insight usage.
Yeah, then martial insight, which is a clue.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Let's use a martial insight.
Okay. So the celestial object that you are competing with, unlike an earthly tribulation where you're struck by lightning from the heavens, or on the heavenly path where you would receive some sort of tribulation through enlightenment,
Mm-hmm.
because each of them are different. Even on the heavenly path, not all of the trials are lightning. Most of it is some sort of mystical trial in nature.
Mm-hmm.
This takes it to the next level. Since this is above heaven, it is the unflinching, uncaring cosmos that has come to test you. In this case, the inverse mirrored moons, or the inverse mirrored stars. These things, at first glance, would potentially belie that one is good, one is evil, but that's not true. They're both uncaring, and they are not inverses of each other, but rather just portrayed as mirrored and inverse. Those who look at it too closely infer their own judgment, and they twist it.
So
This
what I'm hearing is that these aren't actually me. These are just reflections.
correct, but the cruelty of it is in the gravitational anomaly between the two stars, because they are that close to each other. There's a field, a distortion field between the two moons, and it's not that the suns are inverse mirror of each other. It's the polarity, the magnetism between them, even the electromagnetism, and it creates this distortion field between them. Just about anything can happen because most of it's not real. These are illusions until they're not, until you become the illusion. And that's the real danger of this place, because when you look across and all of the copies obey you, it only takes one copy to look back and have you become their illusion, and then that invalidates that you were real and validates that they're real. And now you have 10 people with the claim that they're real, 11 with you. So it's not a matter of using this tribulation to gain something. This is a tribulation to get out as quickly as possible before you are crushed under the effects of this particular series of stars. Just like the phase star that affected our poor friend Lyron, these objects, their trials, unlike those of the earthly path, where if you only endure, you can gain power, you just need to survive these things. And through that, you will complete the trial. Very rarely are cultivators capable of not only practicing enlightenment in the trial and then get out. And there are some celestial objects that are much more difficult to beat than others. This is one of them. For this, the more you interact with the copies in here, the more they gain a right to leave or become real. So, in this case, trying to gain something could only have been done in the very first few scant moments, but now it's a rat race. The
So
use.
my use for the sword, though.
You saw a bunch of swings, but you would have to sit down and like really study it. You're not a what is called a spontaneous genius, where you can see somebody swing a sword and instantly gain enlightenment. You would need to
Okay.
take what you saw and sit down and meditate on it.
I can do that after I get out.
That's the key. In this particular case, how do you beat a mirror?
Break it. Or you don't look at it.
Um,
How do I not look at
you'll
something is the
you'll
question.
yeah, there is no place you can go that you won't be looking at the mirror.
Yeah.
And the mirror is both sided because it's the mirrored inverse. So even if you break the mirror, there's another mirror. And if you look on the other side of the mirror, there's a mirror. It's infinite reflections of like two mirrors looking at each other in every direction. You need to figure out a way, and just like everyone, all your other copies too. All your other copies here also have to figure out a way to beat the mirror. So, how do you beat two mirrors looking at each other that even if you break them or look away or don't look at them at all, you still do?
You remove your perception.
Potentially. But does that not still reflect you?
I guess truth is perspective.
So, even if you don't look, it's the mirrors are still reflecting.
Mm,
You would have to figure out a way to stop reflecting yourself off of these mirrors.
mm.
Hello.
Hello. How go?
Johnny's using the hard things, the big things, the giga things. Yeah. All right. So your objective, or one of the major options, is you need to stop reflecting off of these mirrors. Because every time you do any action,
Yeah.
there's a non-zero chance something wakes up. And with the three Destiny Fragment uses, every which one of them was slightly different on the wording and on the ask, to the point where it is a complete opposite, or just an infinite uses of Destiny Fragments, and there was three of them. So,
My idea for using fate was to imbue the area with fate, so I could possibly refine upon that. But
Fate's reflected.
yeah, no. This is great. This is great. Uh, like this is just learning. Um, and
Eyeball.
well,
A beverage. Beverage required.
yeah, I'm just trying to think of what abilities do I have that allows me to not be seen. Use my shadow qigong, I suppose, to shadow flicker, so that I'm no longer
Still reflected.
visible. It's still reflected because it's a shadow. Exactly. When I did my flame shield, I was still reflected.
Right. But you couldn't see out, and others couldn't see in.
Yeah. Um, which was nice. How can I expand upon that is the question.
It could be simple, it could be complex. Just how you approach it.
So, what my gut's telling me is I'm going to feed the flame again. Um, in the toughness check I do, I'm going to utilize my tribulation key to give me more bonuses. But it's not that I really need the bonuses. I just want to utilize the key through the body. I want to have it as a barrier, in the physical sense, spiritual, of because of my flame, around me. And then I'm going to do something interesting. And this might get my character killed. Uh,
Is there anything Chunpo can do? Is this a
no,
tribulation?
I got this. I got this.
Okay.
I'm going to use Answers a Pie Mat to forcibly gaze upon the revelation in my mind.
Oh. Interesting. Alright.
The plan is that I've created a barrier around myself of the flame to not have it look at that. Now I need to not look at the mirror. I need to be not conscious and cognizant of the mirror.
But the mirror still could reflect you. You need
Still,
to make it. Yeah, it.
which is where I thought the tribulation energy through my key protecting me in the barrier, utilizing that.
All
To
energies are reflected
okay.
by the mirror. Answers of Pi is strange, though. Do you
Yeah.
remember which one I assigned you?
Yeah. Reality is a dream.
Mm-hmm. Which means, as you look at Pi,
Yep.
here is weird. you get to see also the inverse reflection. Nightmare is a two-sided coin
Mm-hmm.
with a weird filling in between. There is a substance that both sides of the coin draws from. One is a dream, which means the mirrors in here are just special permutation of that dream, of which most of it is very reflective. It's like a polished surface. The other half is this roiling, nightmarish mass. It parodies the dream. It copies it. It twists it. It is of the same source, just displayed differently.
Correct.
So, looking upon the answer to the pie in the situation, you would have a dream and nightmare star. Interacting with each other.
I see.
And you are at the conflux point of two complete opposite systems being forcibly compressed from opposite sides. They're both going clockwise, which makes this both being turned opposite directions,
Mm-hmm.
and it's compressing the space to the point where you'd be inside a singularity point. Fortunately, because you're looking at it as a dream and a nightmare, they are two essential building block pieces. And if you can figure out how to interact with these, you may not have to approach it the normal way, which is through some sort of like cultivator answer. You may be able to just grab and pluck or interact or have something react in the way it's not supposed to because you're not interacting with the idea that it's portraying, but the actual building blocks themselves. So it's unpleasant,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, doable. Your answer of pi penalty will come after.
Ah. Luck it, eh? That's a great fate term I love to use. What I really want here is the third side of one and the other of my coin. The convergence of it all. Flipping So let's try this. I'm going to, in this moment, using my Path of the Sword, cut between the convergence of the two to be able to walk out. And I want to use a convergence to do it. That's what comes to mind. That's what I just visualized there. In between dream and nightmare, I have a convergence of 1 in 100 to give me a double 1 in case I don't need a convergence. I'll be myself the convergence in between these two. I don't need to give any currency. I just need to do the action. Cut between nightmare and dream. Or maybe that's not what I'm going for here. I'm going to grab on to both in this moment that I realize. I'm going to grab on to both strands of fate. And I'm going to yeet myself out of it. Pulling on both strings in a motion of elasticity to, as they're converging on this point, to go through it.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what? I didn't even know I lost connection.
Shit. So you didn't hear anything what I was saying.
No.
Man.
I cleared.
Okay, I'm gonna. I had some ideas. Your silence makes sense to why nothing. Okay. So in this moment, I have two strands, two strings of fate.
No, no fate. You just have a perspective. You don't have any of
Right.
that.
Okay.
But it's not like they're like a strand or anything.
No, no,
Like
no, no. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In this perspective, I see the convergence. I'm going to use a convergence to cut between them for a path out.
You're gonna use a what?
A convergence within the convergence of these two entities in this moment to cut myself a path out. Is that something doable?
Cut means you're using something that can cut, which means you're taking an action. We gotta be a little bit more.
Okay.
Like if you're gonna cut, also convergence. We're not referring to the actual convergent system.
This is a convergence between the two, right? The two entities that you said.
Yes, but not to be confused with the convergence
Using
point.
convergence for a double one, yeah. I thought about giving them throwing both convergences at the stars, but this perspective, it let me, like you described, it let me see the convergence point in a sense, right? Where I am between the two, nightmare and dream.
Yeah, it's the answers of pi.
Yeah.
That is allowing you to see it.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to decide, like, can I utilize that convergence after when I get out to get, because how else am I supposed to? Matt,
But that
why do I need to physically do it? Make the intent to do so.
It needs a symbology, even if it's just making a blade with your hand and making a cutting motion. You still need to do something to represent the cutting.
Okay. What I thought was I am the convergence in between the convergence of these two entities. I'm the thing in between them. But yeah, no, that's okay. Okay.
So
Wait. I got something.
okay.
Can I see the strands of fate from myself?
What do you mean?
My bonds that I have with either my party members, the people I care about. Dream is in fate, correct?
There's no fate strands here. really.
Okay. It's just
Just the ones that you have projected, which are then reflected.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to think of a way I could, in this moment, because I can utilize this moment, get stunned, and then go for the convergence, cut it. I could do that, but I also could try something within this moment to get out, and that's what I've been trying to think of, like sword intent. Alrighty. Fuck. What can I utilize from those two things? This is a, I don't know. This is a big story point for my my DAO name that I want to utilize. Using DAO doesn't require action economy, right?
Not necessarily.
I have this critical failure DAO point that I've been holding on to for a long.
You do have a critical failure.
I'm going to use it on this convergence point. Not to be mistaken for an actual physical convergence, but the space in between these two stars and myself. I would like to become the critical failure in between them.
Interesting.
And I'm going to spend it here. In this moment of clarity that I have, I push it through my body into, well, my concept, I suppose, the convergence. Yeah, like an inverse mirror to represent failure and what I'm striving for.
Seems imminently doable. So you just break the whole simulation by introducing a critical failure, and
Correct.
you being the one out of infinity, the one in infinity that is just by being here, you break everything.
But it's also is the realization the word here? It's being cognizant of these 2 points that allow it to happen. Because I'm introducing it not just to what I see, but the dream of between these 2 points. And it's also a reflection of my Tao, who I am. From failure comes success. The inverse of a critical failure is a critical success.
If you're going to use that, that'll work, because you certainly are capable of breaking the simulation using a critical failure. And it'll shatter and fall around you. Good job. Yeah, it can be that simple.
I mean, it wasn't simple. But it's the when you have a greater understanding of the concept and then you put it into reality of the dream, I suppose, and it happens. Okay, I'm subtracting that from my one critical failure. 100 out of 100 used. It just seemed like the perfect inverse of a critical failure. Between those 2 points, my 3-sided coin being the convergence of it all. Okay. How much time do I have left of you? I know I used like at least.
I should probably start getting ready for work.
Okay.
Just to be on the safe side. Since the next part is actually pretty quick, we can just not hand wave it, but we'll do that at the start of next session.
Sure.
It's actually pretty.
So Rising Phoenix of the 3-sided coin was what I had planned for my DAO name.
Okay.
It's like rising sun, in a sense.
All right. I'll keep that. We'll do that at the start of next session.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Doesn't have to be complex.
We did it.
Doop-a-doo. On a magic journey.
Thanks for the makeup. Made tomorrow's session easier.
Yeah, Sure
Don't
does.
have to go through that. Alrighty, stop here then.